So in this tutorial, I wanted to show you briefly the text options that you have in Google Slides, how to add text boxes, and how to edit the text that's in the boxes. It's pretty straightforward. It's very similar to Microsoft PowerPoint. If you have a text box on your screen, like it says here, click to add title. I can add a title into that box, and I can add a subtitle below. To edit the text inside the boxes, if you wanted to change the font or the font size or any of that stuff here, you'll notice that up here at the top, when I click into one of these text boxes, I get some different options that appear. They're not there unless I'm inside this text box. So I can highlight the text that's in here. I can change the font. I can change the font size. I can make it bold, italic, or underline. I can also change the color. Remember, if you have a dark background, you want to have light font. If you have a light background, you want to have dark font. So just remember that. Something else that's kind of cool about Google Slides is they don't have a ton of fonts here, but if you go down to the bottom, it says more fonts. What you can actually do is you can scroll through their web-based fonts, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about this later on in a tutorial that I do for Google Drawings. But I'm just going to scroll through here, and I'm just going to pick a font. Say OK. So I have I changed my font style, my font size, my color. What I can also do is, if I wanted to, I can give the text box a line. You wouldn't always want to do that, but in case you wanted to give a line style to the text box, and I can also give it a fill color. Now, you obviously wouldn't want to put it the same color as your text, but if I click here, so I can give it a color. These handles, when I click on the text box, will make the text box bigger or smaller. It won't affect the size of the font inside, just where the font kind of lays inside of it. So I can make these bigger and smaller, and I can rotate the text with this handle up here at the top. All right. And then the other options, fairly basic. Off to the side here, you have alignment. So if I want it left aligned, if I want it centered, if I want it right aligned, if I want it justified. And then these options here will place it in different spots in the text box. So if I have a pretty big text box here, I can adjust this so that it's centered, and I can adjust the height of it so that it's centered as well. Or I can put it all the way at the top or all the way at the bottom. So you have some options there. Line spacing, single, double, add space before paragraph. So that's for your line spacing. But that's pretty much it. Those are really the only options you have when editing text. To create a text box, if you need to add one, let's say that this was not there and I needed to add a text box, I can click on this T over here, draw a text box, and then I can type and do any of the stuff that I did before. So let's put this back in the center. Let's make it bigger. Let's give it a different font. And let's change the color so that it is actually readable. Now you'll notice these red lines that pop up as I move the text box. These are actually grid rules that it'll snap in place when I get to the right spot. So this is showing me that the bottom of my text box is pretty much dead center of the presentation. So it helps for laying out your text boxes. But that's it.